Joined now by our political panel, Anika Wells and Andrew Bragg. First time in the studio all together, and you've been quite badly behaved, if I can say. So we've got you in shot. I want to start with that comment that Bridget McKenzie made about gender in the Senate. She was saying 50-50 split, a female to male representation.
How good's the Senate?
How good are quotas? The Senate? Well, she said that the Nats have managed to achieve that without any quotas and called the Labor side quota girls. What do you think about being called a quota girl? Are you one?
Am I a quota girl? Well, quotas played a role. Queensland Labor has quotas in my pre-selection. I think quotas are important. They get the job done. And the thing about quotas that we don't talk about enough is that what quotas do is make people think far longer out about which women are around, who might be interested, what they need in terms of support and preparation, and then they get that done to get them there. So, like, to me, the benefit of quotas is that women get a longer run-in and more preparation. And a lot of the time, people at short notice, when by-elections and pre-selection stashes happen, people don't do it because they've got childcare to think of, they haven't got their families set up to work around a fly-in, fly-out Canberra arrangement, and at 4 days' notice or whatever it is, sometimes when these things happen, they can't get it together in time. So what quotas does is make people think about that far further out, which gets more women in.
What do you make of that, Andrew?
Look, I think the Senate has long been a house where there has been very much stronger female representation. The problem the Liberal Party has had and the coalition has had over the long run has been in the House of Representatives and pre-selecting women for winnable seats in the House of Reps. And that's what the Menzies Research Centre shows over the long run. So in the future, we need to do better in that area.
Well, what do you make of what Bridget was saying about how the Nats, it's just party member, anyone can vote, and that's how they get better representation? Does that mean you need to fix your pre-selection and have it be less selective?
I've never been worried about big colleges. My view is if you have a big college for a pre-selection, that's a good thing. In mine, in November last year, there was about 600 people in that pre-selection. So, the bigger the better.
What do you agree, Anika? No?
Well, we didn't hear what Bridget said because, like you said, we were behaving badly outside. Yeah. So without knowing exactly what she said, it is a bit much for the other side of politics to, throw themselves a parade for getting 50-50 in the Senate when we're a very long way from that in the House. And as Andrew has tactfully said, that is due to that side of the fence. So I will say in Andrew's defence, he has been very strong on women in the past.
And it is a record number of women.
He's an ally.
We'll give you that as well.
Thank you.
So if we move on to... point to Liberals. So if we move on to the terror laws being introduced today, it's basically an expanded remit on what we've already seen from the government being introduced. Why do we need these expanded powers? Do you think they're necessary? We'll go to Anika first.
Do I think they're necessary? We will look at it when it comes. It hasn't been introduced yet. I think it's going to be introduced later today, so we'll take it through our caucus processes, and that's a good and fair thing to do.
Look, the laws were introduced in 2015. There's been a review. There's a view from the agencies that they could be stronger. And so, effectively, if a dual citizen wants to go and work with a terrorist organisation, they're out. And I think that's a good thing.
Now, the economy is the other big story this morning. We look like we're going to get a balanced budget, perhaps even edging into surplus territory. But Labor's saying this is because of a massive underspend in the NDIS. Andrew, do you accept that?
Look, I think when we came to office, the budget was a disaster. We've tried to repair the budget. It looks like that's on track. I'm not going to, usurp the Treasurer's announcements later today. But certainly, jobs growth is still ticking along. The budget will be back in the black, we hope, and that's certainly a lot better than it would have been if Labor had won the election in May. So thank goodness for, stable, credible economic management.
Well, you don't look like you're agreeing with that, Anika.
She doesn't seem to agree. I can't believe it.
Shocking.
It's a bit much.
Just give me a break.
I think, like you said, the point that we're making is that whatever these figures are when they come in, they're off the back of billions of dollars underspend in the NDIS. And secondly, I know, when I go back home tonight to the north side of Brisbane, nobody is going to see these figures today and think that their lives are going to be made any easier. I was just talking to small business in Wavell Heights on the weekend. They've already tightened their belt straps right down in anticipation of things getting worse. They're not going to be putting more money back in on the basis of the figures coming in today. People's wages aren't going up as a result of these numbers coming in today. There's still no plan coming in today. So, no, I'm not impressed.
But imagine if Labor had won the election. I mean, they'd be trying to legislate $400 billion in new taxes, which would clobber the economy. And your small business owners would be, worrying about how they're still going to have a customer base because people will be paying all these new taxes.
We have this fight all the time. Firstly, you've changed the figures
Well, it's
on how many
387
false
billion.
taxes
400 billion
they're
is a
paying.
close proxy.
And secondly, you need to get some new material. Like, it's been 5 months on from the
but
election.
these
now
are still
we're
your
hearing
policies.
about the content policies.
These are still your
All of these
policies.
policies, they're under review. They're under review.
Oh, okay. You heard it here
That's not
first.
news either.
Well,
Wow.
So isn't that the thing that you need to get some new material then? If it's you don't have your franking credit policy, you don't have your negative gearing policy sorted, it's all under review. Isn't that on
The thing
Labor?
is, though, that we are
Yeah,
the
you need to
opposition
be.
and they are the government, and they got elected to govern, and so they should do some governing.
That's what we're doing. That's why we're just debating legislation we're about to introduce, whether it's on national security or it's on the big stick. No one can deny that we've got a very significant legislative agenda. Much better than putting in new taxes on the economy.
The thing about the economy is it's not working for working people, and there's no plan to fix that. So that's our concern. That's what we'd like the government to address anytime you like.
I think there's two examples right now in this parliament, whether it's the big stick or it's our plans to improve insurance in super, where we're taking the side of workers against, frankly, markets that haven't been working well enough for consumers. So we're always on the side of working people, and that's why we try and keep taxes low and make sure the economy works as well as it can for them.
But the thing is that working people want jobs, and on the north side of Brisbane, we've had 840 jobs cut in the past couple of weeks alone. So all of these figures and all of this good news, it doesn't mean much to people if you don't have a job.
Well, you guys, it's fun having you in the same studio, can I just say?
Not interstate.
So if we return to the number one story of the last fortnight, it's been Gladys Liu. What did you make of the 90-second statement we got from Matthias Cormann in the Senate yesterday? It was begrudgingly given and didn't kind of give us any more information.
Well, I wasn't there. Were you there to see it?
Yes.
I didn't see it. What did you think?
I thought it was a very good statement. I think the Labor Party need to be very careful with pursuing this issue. The member has made a statement. There was initially a clumsy interview. Unless people are going to put a name or a face to allegations, and I just don't think that we would take it particularly seriously. And I have to say again that I don't think that other people have been treated like this member has been treated.
What do you make of that, Anika?
It's not us making these allegations. These are Victorian Liberals making these allegations.
who?
These are...
Who?
Well, it's your party.
Yeah, but
It's
who?
us.
Who?
Victorian Liberals.
Yeah, but who?
Through the media. And these are
Well,
questions
we do
like, we're what,
trust the
10
media.
days in now?
Of course.
10 days in, and there's
Well,
still
no,
no
there-
answers. This is going to remain an issue as long as there are no answers. If you'd like this off the agenda, you should get some answers.
No, but hang on. But people can't go into the media and behind the scenes make up allegations without putting their names or face to it. I think it's grossly unfair.
So speak to your party members about it. If that's what
Yeah,
you
but what's the
think.
allegation you're making?
The issue is that there were inconsistencies between her interview and then the statement that she gave, and then that she won't table it in Parliament. So there are serious causes for concern there. Do you accept that it was just a clumsy interview with Andrew Bolt?
Look, I have empathy for people going on Sky and feeling the pressure. But there were three different answers given to the same question. That's, I think that's a bit beyond clumsy. My issue, I guess, is that we are parliamentarians. I would say our core business is to deal in the Parliament and to address the Parliament. Why can't a statement be made to the Parliament? No one's answered why it can't be made to the Parliament.
Do you accept that the criticism that the attacks on Gladys Liu have been racist?
I think people need to be very careful about the way they pursue these matters, given I don't think there's been an equivalence with people who are Anglo.
What do you make of that?
I think it was a massive overreach for the Prime Minister to say that the actions of one person reflect upon 1.2 million Australians, and I note that he has backed right off from that since he first made that.
I don't think he has backed off from that, and 1.2 million Chinese Australians. I mean, I employ a Chinese Australian in my office, and certainly, the way the Labor Party has approached this, I think, has been very disappointing, I have to say.
Well, we might have to leave it there, but thank you so much for your time, Anika Wells and Andrew Bragg. It's been a pleasure having you in the studio instead of in the state.